My name is Max Greenhood, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about RocketBike, but also, some of the, problems, issues, and some of the better parts of owning business, and then some takeaways for if anybody's thinking about being an entrepreneur, some lessons that I've learned, and also learned working with business owners for my business. So, this is me. If you recognize him, so I'm president of RocketBike digital agency, co-founder of Cosmic Atlas, which I'll get into in a minute. I'm president of the Old Town Business Association, and proud to be the 2016 Kingsborough Town Entrepreneur of the Year. Aside from that, I've also got a couple real estate projects in Old Town Portsmouth, we'll just do that. So RocketBike, we'll start with. So this is my full-time job. We're a pretty much a full-service boutique agency. So what that means is we do just about everything to get customers for businesses. So this can be like B2C products. So like one of our clients is Gator Cases. They make cases for like guitars and instruments, things like that. Or B2C like Cypher Cloud that sells the super high-level security stuff that even people in the security business don't quite understand. So that's part of what, for me, makes my job fun. It's getting to jump around between a lot of these different clients and businesses, and get to put on different hats in terms of who the customer is and who the business is and what their needs are. So here are a few examples of clients we're working with. There's some you might recognize, others you may not. Some of the cooler ones right now we're working with Shenandoah Beer Works Trail in the Shenandoah Valley. It's a really cool new initiative that's connecting a lot of different towns, cities, and breweries around the valley. And of course, some of these are local businesses like Heritage Woodworks and CVSF, Southeastern Virginia Community Foundation, and then some others are a bit bigger. So one of our big businesses or components of our business is design development. So design everything from advertising to print pieces and then development for websites. So here are a few examples, everything from product-focused sites through nonprofits, tourism, and local businesses like Heritage Works at the end or Avenue Farm, which is in the field. So we've built a ton of websites over the years. This is where we got our start. And moving on to some design. So logo design is, of course, a big and sort of what a lot of people think of when they think of design. So here's a few examples of logos that we've done. So you can see it's a pretty wide range. And some other design work we've done, some printing collateral, bigger print piece booklets. So this is like a health first case study, which is a hospital system. I think I'm in Florida. You can see the whole big outline of Florida there. Bus wraps. This is a super fun one. This wacky brand called Wicked Taco that they've got these characters like this cactus guy and these little taco minions. They somehow managed to combine sort of this fun, evil things with fresh, locally sourced tacos. So it's one of the fun things is getting to come across inventive brands like this, things that I would never think of. And then of course some sales sheets. This is another local company. Photography is another piece of our business. I'm not sure at the bottom of that slide. So some photography work that we've done. This is, I guess, one of the newer items in the last few years. I personally got into photography a lot more, which is an important piece of a lot of what we do. Because you need good pictures to tell a story. So this is for the city of Suffolk. So for tourism, this was used in a Virginia tourism ad on a 2-page spread, which was exciting. Images are a big part of storytelling. Storytelling is how we get people to buy products or services, and how we get them to even pay attention through advertising. So advertising crosses everything from Google AdWords, aka paid search, through Facebook, paid social, display ad campaigns. Pretty much we do just about all of it short of Super Bowl ads. Not in a position to get like $500,000 worth of staff and crew and pyrotechnics and whatnot. But that's RocketBike. The next one I'd like to share about is the Cosmic Atlas. So this has been a side project I've been working on for about 4 years now. This is a mobile application that has pretty much the known universe on your phone. So a friend of mine from high school is a developer out in LA. He's crazy talented, and he started building this, I think it was like 6 years ago, and he showed me sort of the framework. He's like, hey, if we made this, have some cool UI, this would be really interesting. And since then, we started off, NASA had maybe like 200 exoplanets. Now we're at like 2,300 confirmed exoplanets where we know, their rotation around the star and where they are in relation to Earth and where they are in relation to other planets in the system. So the idea is to bring, space and all of this sort of mind-boggling, new information that we're getting from satellites, and make it, easy and actionable to sort of check out. So the app has 170 trillion square light years of space that you can freely explore. So this is an actual screen recording of me flying around. But we're finally in sort of the latter stages of, you can call it like our alpha, so we're getting ready for public beta. So keep an eye on our Facebook, things like that. We want to start inviting the first batch of test users to find out all the things that you can break that we've never thought to break, and then fix those before we launch it wide. So I guess taking a step back, how I got here. So I was raised by a family of entrepreneurs. These are my parents. I grew up in the family restaurant business. I thought that was what everybody did. That everybody had their own business, and some people it was a hardware store. But for me, it was a restaurant. So it was amazing to watch my parents grow this humble coffee cart into a takeout room, into 50-seat lunch spot, into 120-seat restaurant with a huge wine list and people coming from the ocean front for a Sunday brunch buffet. So of course, growing up in that environment, I naturally wanted nothing to do with starting a business. I wanted to be an artist. So this is me in college, playing with Max Greenhood and the whiskey vendors. I don't even like whiskey, so it's sort of a weird name. But for the longest time, I was set on going forward with a music career. That's what I was going to do. I had it all figured out. I recorded my own album and did all this and that. I'm really glad that I figured out other ways to apply my creativity, because this is a very fun way to start, but not an easy way, to build a career. So luckily, I was enrolled in College of Business at JMU. When I was there, I got into some of the fundamentals of what business is. Was introduced to the stock market, to marketing, and I really didn't understand what business was all about until I got to college. Despite growing up in a family of business owners, it wasn't until getting in the nitty-gritty and being forced to read, memorize, and write papers about it that I started to figure it out. So when I was in school, I taught myself Photoshop. Somebody had told me about it, and I thought it seems like fun. I always did art in high school, so figuring on a computer, I wouldn't have all those tiny bits of eraser everywhere. So I started doing that, which was, I guess, a first step towards getting into marketing, but also started investing in the stock market. I was fortunate to have a bar mitzvah where everybody gives you money when you're 13. So when I was 13, I guess just a couple $1,000 my parents put in stocks. So then by the time I got to college, it was around $5,000, and I asked my parents if I could take control of my stock portfolio. Mind you, this was in like 2008, 2009, like the worst time in the market. So
best time to buy.
Exactly. So it was the best time to buy. I got pretty lucky. I made some good decisions too, but I had a spreadsheet and I would make fake trades and see how they would do. And then by the time I was comfortable enough, I started an E-Trade account and turned that 5,000 into 12,000 over the next 18 months. So that really allowed me to fund partially my music career, but luckily I didn't put a ton into that. But allowed me to travel and eventually start RocketBike. So after college, Casey and I, you can see Casey right there. She's here with us today. At the time, she's my girlfriend. Now I'm proud to say my wife. After college, we went to Egypt and lived in Cairo in the fall of 2011, right after the Egyptian Revolution. It was an interesting time to be there. It was very upbeat. A lot of people might not expect, but there's just so much hope in the air. But we were working for different technology companies in Cairo in a district called B.Y.O.B, if anybody's familiar with it. So I was working for this umbrella company of a lot of different Middle Eastern brands. So Al-Lab was one of them, which is like the Grubhub of Egypt. And then Yalakura is Arabic for let's go play soccer, right? Ish. Okay. And these were big names in Egypt, but also in the Middle East region. So we went there to give whatever bit of help and insight we could. As soon as we walked in, they were like, "Oh, this is American educated, business degree holders. Like, you're going to come fix everything," which was not the case. It was still an incredible experience. Interesting to see how business was done over there, coming from getting into websites and everything on this side of the water. We learned a lot and got to see some interesting things. So coming back home, Casey still had a semester to go at school, so I moved into my sister's basement and got a job with a small marketing firm there, and set up a little desk and had my first starts to RocketBike, you could say. It was quite humble beginnings. There's an unfinished basement. I don't think it was legal that I lived down there, now that I think about it. But set up a bed and a dining room table as a desk, and this is where I made my first freelance website for a family friend. So that is really, I guess you could call it the beginnings of RocketBike, in my little sister's basement in a college town that I'd already graduated from, which is a proud place to be, let's say. So eventually moved down to my sister's basement. Casey and I moved to Charlottesville, right down the road. Casey got a job with Search Mojo, a marketing agency there, and I started to freelance more. So at the time, the family business started to take a downturn with the recession. My parents were in the fine dining business. Not a great place to be when everybody's trying to cut back and tighten their belts. Big wine lists and $30 steaks does not sort of mesh with the sort of saving mentality of the recession. So I started taking trips back and forth home, was helping them out as much as I could. So I didn't have the option of getting a full-time job. So it's pretty much forced into freelancing. I'd love to say like, oh, I saw this great opportunity, I took the risk and went for it and started an agency. That's not how it went. So at the same time that this was starting to happen, there's a bad partnership with the family business, recession, and then my dad was diagnosed with cancer. It was about the worst time that could have happened. I mean, he worked like crazy. He did at least 70 or 80 hours a week. He was personally responsible for so much stuff that happened around there. And this was a time when we needed extra hands on deck the most. And he was cut back, from his usual 80 hours a week to maybe 30 painful hours. So we ended up moving back home to Portsmouth, so I could help out my parents more, while still trying to, have RocketBike to bring in some outside income. Of course, the family business wasn't paying for my parents and me. It was a slow start, but shortly after I got a couple projects and actually started a relationship with a technology company out in LA. Oddly enough, like my first clients, none of them were from here, other than that first website. But P1 Technologies was my first big client. Then my second lucky break meaning when I was contracted as interim marketing director for a company called B.O.B. So B.O.B is the parent company for 6 luxury apartment communities. They just lost their marketing director, and if I were in their shoes, I probably wouldn't have hired me, but I'm really glad they did, and I think they ended up being happy that they did as well. So I came in and took on all the marketing activities for their 6 properties. So at the time, I still had RocketBike clients. So I would wake up around 5 in the morning. I'd work for a couple hours at home. Then I'd go in and do a regular 8 to 5 with B.O.B. I'd come back home, work for a couple hours, and go to sleep. Or I guess I'd have like 2 or 3 hours to relax, and then I'd go to sleep and start the day over again. Did this for about, I think it was 8 months, until I was able to find and train my replacement, and then switch over to becoming a vendor where B.O.B became one of our bigger clients. And this is really when RocketBike started to take off. So with B.O.B as a vendor, and I was working full-time at home again, I turned the second bedroom into an office, and we hired our first employee, Christian. I did that little animation because I knew that he would hate it in a loving way. Yeah, so I was a decent developer. I taught myself, CSS and HTML and figured out how a lot of this stuff works. But once I started working with Christian, I realized how little I knew, because he was the real deal. So I stuck to more design, strategy, things like that. And Christian was on the development side. We made a great team. So Christian brought some of his own freelance clients as well. So we really started to pick up some momentum, building lots of websites, getting new clients who wanted ongoing advertising and design services, adding more things to the website in their marketing campaigns. And 6 months later, after hiring Christian, we moved into our first office on High Street. This was it. It was a former marine boat supply store. But I had a vision for what we could turn the space into. So the first round of updates, we roughed it up a bit. And then a year or so later, I tore out these walls and we put up storefront glass. And I painstakingly exposed all this brick myself, which makes me really appreciate anybody who does expose brick. And it was an awful experience, but an educational one, so I'm not going to be doing that again. So new office, we finally had room for more people. So first it was, of course, a little fight in there with me and Christian was like, why do we have this huge space? It's just the 2 of us. I was like, oh, let's see, we're going to hire more people. So a couple months later, we hired Dylan as our designer to help share the load with me for all the design work that I was doing. And then a few months later, we hired Casey to really expand our services into a lot more better digital advertising and advertising strategy in general. Casey been doing a lot of the strategy behind like Virginia tourism work and Virginia Beach at one of the major agencies in the area. So it was a huge addition for us. It really put us in the real leagues. But now, Casey Greenhood. And so that was like our core team that fueled our growth. But at the same time, the family business was still on the decline. It had been a couple of years. RocketBike's success allowed me to help financially to make sure that payroll was paid, the mortgage was paid, and while we attempted to try to sell the building, that was the nest egg. We always have the building, so if something goes wrong with the restaurant, we'll always sell that. So we did everything we could over 2 years since I moved back, but it was not enough. And after 25 years in business, the bank repossessed the building and the restaurant closed. So this 2-year period of trying to save the restaurant and save the building while growing RocketBike was, I'd say, like the most transformative period of my life. So I didn't realize, I guess, how easy that I really had it until you kind of see it all go away. And while you could call it failure, I really appreciated and fully understood what my parents had achieved, what they had built. It was painful and a scary time, but it was, I think, healthy, and it did a lot for me to realizing how much I took for granted and the impermanence of success and just impermanence of life and what we have, and that you have to work hard consistently, be on the lookout for risks and changes, and success is not just this easy thing that you get it and then you have it and that's it, and you just rest on your laurels. It is constant maintenance, and so many things can come out of nowhere to just take it all away from you. So unless you're prepared for that, it can have painful consequences. So this really changed my perspective on hard work, and going through this process, that's how I was able to get up at 5 a.m. and work for 12 or 14 hours and then get up and do it again. I had never been a crazy working person. I remember all the weekends that my parents would call and ask me to come in to wait tables or do something, and I was always really frustrated and upset about it. But this is what sort of gave me the ability to work like a robot and not be upset about it, for better or for worse. So this is also what I think fueled a lot of our growth for RocketBike. So I'll spare you a play-by-play of the next 3 years. We'll all fall asleep. But we eventually rebranded from this to our current logo. And as growth those first couple years stabilized, we got to a good point. So you can see from 2013 to 2015, it was pretty rapid, from making this about 40,000 by myself to almost 100 years later. I was not prepared for it, and I'm not sure there's much that I could have done to be better prepared for it, but I was always in such a mindset focused on growth. We have to keep growing, not realizing how challenging it is to scale a business. Starting a business is easy. Doing something small where it's just you and a couple people, you don't need a ton, you don't have a lot of customers, people that you're responsible to. But as it grows and balloons, then somebody like me that does the design work and also talks to clients and also has to manage people, all of a sudden you've got 30 hours of work to do in a 24-hour day. So we sort of transitioned from focusing from that crazy growth to more efficiency, sustainability, and focusing on what we're doing. So now we have a smaller team, but we actually are still increasing in revenue, which is a good thing. Less people to worry about, and we're still able to do great work and have a smaller group of clients that really care about us and the work that we do. So one of the unique things about us in this growth is we're a marketing agency, but we've never done advertising for ourselves. So all of it has been from word of mouth and referrals, which is important in the services industry. It's hard to know who you can trust with something like this. Websites or advertising, a lot of us don't really understand the mechanics that go into it. So there's a big leap of faith when you pay somebody. It's you're going to do this every month. I don't know what that sorcery is, but I'm going to keep paying you and hope that something good is going to happen. And pretty much all the time it did, and that's how we're able to keep growing. So today, we're in a temporary office while we build out our new space. So there is a happy ending to the story. After 2 years, after the bank repossessed the building, I did manage to buy it back with 2 partners. So our plan is we're going to have a restaurant on the first floor, event and conference center on the second, and then the RocketBike office and a co-working space will be on the 3rd and 4th floors. So that was a really challenging time after we lost everything, trying to get it back. Somebody else had bought it from the bank, and then they realized that they couldn't make their development work. And then when I saw what they were trying to do, I sell, and a few months later, they did. You might have heard about it in the Virginia pilot if anybody saw the article. This was from last year. And happy to say that my parents are doing great. My dad's in remission. They actually just won 2017 Small Business of the Year for Portsmouth. So they're just doing catering now, not the restaurant, which is a lot easier. There's no wait staff drama, which is, I think, half of being in the restaurant business is telling adults not to act like children. So we don't miss that. And we're actually right now, our temporary office is in the front space of this huge building where they're in the back in the kitchen, and we're up front. So free access to cookies all afternoon is not a good thing. But anyway, exercising self-control. So I guess we'll talk about a little bit like what I'm proud of and why I love to do what I do. I'd say the biggest thing is being the master of your own destiny. I think that's what is so attractive about entrepreneurship for people. It's like, I don't have a boss. I get to be the one that denies my vacation request. It is nice to have that. On the flip side, instead of having one boss, I have 20 at any given time between clients or vendor staff. But overall, worth it. Being able to give back to my parents, anytime when they needed it. It's easy to not think about how much our parents sacrifice, their dreams, goals, and where they imagine that their lives would be at a given point, just so we can have it better than them. So that was especially rewarding to be able to, equalize it a tiny bit, even though I'm still very much in the negative. But I think that they intended it that way. We've done a lot of great work for Old Town as a tourism destination for the business district, which has been, really great. One of my bigger passions is Portsmouth, and especially Old Town. I think it's an untapped resource that really hasn't had its story told the right way. So made a lot of progress there. Then helping businesses that need it. This can be a hard one to do a lot of the time, but there's one business. He was in the, the technical services trade. He had, downsized from, I think it was 4 or 5 people, had a bad winter, and it was him and one guy when we started talking, and then that guy left for another offer because he wasn't getting paychecks on time. It was just him. He was racked with debt, and we were like his last ditch effort to try to turn the business around. There's a lot of pressure, and I usually don't take on stuff like that because just the emotional weight of somebody else's entire livelihood. But for him, we're able to turn the business around. Now they've got a fleet of trucks and I think 12 full-time people. That's what makes me get up in the morning. That it's a rewarding feeling to know the work that you do actually makes a difference. We're not just designing pretty things that go on a billboard, Milwaukee. It's actually making a difference for somebody's life. And then share a little bit of honest thoughts on my personal challenges. Managing people is probably the most difficult thing about any. Let me rephrase that. Managing people is the most difficult thing of being a human, I think. When it's friends, family, anybody that you interact with or have to team up with. Part of that is getting comfortable being the boss. I was 23 when I started RocketBike and still relatively young for this kind of business. So being on the same footing as some clients where I'm talking to a 60-year-old CEO, but also telling people who are essentially my peers what to do and that I'm somehow better than them was a struggle. Initially is being the boss and being comfortable, being bossy, but not you don't necessarily have to be bossy. But in any case. Getting through that and then managing difficult people. I think no matter what you do, there's some people that are just miserable and can't be helped. I did not have that sort of perspective when I started. I'm sort of optimist of, there's something great in everyone sort of thing. And even miserable people have good things about them. They might be miserable because they just saved 30 children on the school bus from production. angle. I don't know, but dealing with those people is really challenging, especially as like a no trauma person. I'm not used to a whole lot of conflict, so when you've got somebody that's like screaming at you over the tiniest thing, figuring that out was sort of a big learning curve. So we learned to be a little bit more selective with clients and sort of try to weed out the crazies. Time management. I think anybody who's sort of creative, wants to do the entrepreneur thing, probably has issues with this. Just there's always seems to be more stuff to do than there are hours in the day. So as an optimist, I am always underestimating how long it takes for me to do things. I was reading somewhere that lateness and optimism are correlated, and it makes sense that you think you're going to get things done faster and leave sooner. So I'm chronically 5 minutes late for everything because of that. I'm like, oh, I only have to do this, this, and this, so I'll be done in 5 minutes and get there. But it always takes twice as long. Still struggling with that one. But then dealing with time thieves, as far as time management, is the more you do, the more people are going to ask of you. That makes these people time thieves. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. They don't mean to be stealing your time. But learning to say no to people when they're asking for something you could give them, that's a relatively small amount of your time, is still hard. And staying organized, I'm like a novelty-seeking, creative excitement person. Meticulous planning is not interesting to me. So like those maintenance tasks that make your life easier, I struggle with, but using tools like Asana or Google Calendar, things like that make it a lot easier. Turning down opportunities, I think is an especially challenging one, especially for an entrepreneur that like sees the world as opportunity. It's like, oh, we can do this thing and make this much money, and oh, there's all these people that need this. It's really tempting to go after everything that you can, but just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And I'm sort of on the down curve of getting involved in too many things once I signed up for so much stuff, like being a board member of different organizations and also having my various side projects. It was a good experience to realize that you should just focus on doing a few things well and a dozen things poorly. So moving on to like some advice from what I've learned. So I'm in a unique position from a lot of other entrepreneurs in that I have my own business and I've gone through a lot of these struggles, but I also work with other business owners and I've seen a lot of the pitfalls that is pretty common. Most businesses, if you're selling specialized resource management software for oil and gas companies in the North Atlantic, or if you're selling music cases, there's a lot of similarities between problems that we all have. So I think one important point there, I guess, way to think about people who are getting into business or entrepreneurs, I think fundamentally we're all either strategists or tacticians, or technicians, that is. So what I mean by that, so this is not a black or white thing. There's always some sort of spectrum, but I think everybody who starts a business sort of leans toward predominantly one or the other. So on the strategist side, this is like the creative, innovative thinker. The people are like relationship builders, good at self-promotion. They like to move quickly and they follow their intuition. But they're also the people that tend to be a little disorganized. They have a messy desk. They're a little late for stuff. They miss the details and they're not like great executioners. Then there's the technicians these are the people that dig into the details. Like they love finding the devil in there. They're the ones who are paying attention to the process, doing meticulous planning, and when they're making a decision, they look at all the different variables that intersect, and they plot them out and figure out this is the way we're going to go because it's going to be 98% easier than the other option. The strategist would say, let's do that. So the technicians, on the other hand, they sort of struggle with self-promotion, breaking down complex ideas for the average person. Sure, you've all talked to somebody when you ask them something and they give you this dissertation of an answer. You're like, I don't know what any of that means, but thank you. But the thing is, so between these two people, you need to have both to have a successful business. You need the strategist to sort of lay out the big picture plans and to pitch it to everybody else, and they get excited about it and make creative ways to show it. And then you need the technician to put the pieces together and execute on it. So the reason I bring this up is that if you're one or the other, you need to know which you are and find help to fill in the gaps on the other. Which leads me to the next point is to know yourself. Not enough people do, I feel like, know themselves. But it's important to truly understand who you are. Not who you want to be, but who you actually are. I think it's probably one of the parts of growth that some people arrive at a lot sooner in life, and others it takes more time. But you should know your strengths and weaknesses. What are the areas that you need to fill in? And also, what makes you happy? A lot of people start businesses, want the identity of an entrepreneur because it's this cool thing. It's sort of like the modern day small scale rock star. It's been very romanticized in media. But you might not necessarily want the job of an entrepreneur, even if you want the identity of it. So it's important to know what makes you happy, what you want. And self-awareness and emotional intelligence, if everybody had self-awareness and emotional intelligence, that is, you know how people perceive you, perceive your actions, I think the world would be a much better place. I think most of us have a pretty good foundation just going through higher education. Colleges are good at sort of showing you that, or at least pointing the way to figure out who you are a little bit more. But it shouldn't be restricted to just us. But in any case, if you want to be successful, you need to know who you are and understand how people perceive you. And that is really like the only way to fill in the gaps and figure out what you're missing. So there's one great tool called Gallup Strengths Finder. This is, I think it costs $15 for your top 5, but it's a great personality test. This is my personality, which I think is strikingly correct. So like ideation, fascinated by ideas, strategic, spot patterns, work through solutions, positivity, emerging life with optimism, and then competition. I always want to do better than everyone else, not in like a they're bad sort of way, but that's just part of what is fulfilling for me. And activators, like being impatient for action. I do defer toward action versus inaction. But what's missing from here is anything about organization, planning. I made the list because naturally I'm not as good at remembering what I don't do. So execution, like the joy you get from completing tasks. Like for me, like all the joy happens once I figure out what we need to do. It's done. I get 0 endorphins at any point after that. So it's just like trudging through mud to do the thing that I already know that we need to do. It's like, once you know the yard needs to be raked, breaking it sucks. And then focus, anything about like prioritizing, knowing I need to do this, this, and this, all terrible weaknesses for me. But it's important to know, where your strengths are, so you've got people to fill in, or tasks, or tools, things like that help you. Know your goals. So if you want to start a business, why? What are your life goals? Do you want to have, freedom? Do you want to travel? Things like that. Starting a business is probably not great if you want to do a lot of traveling, unless you've got a perfect small team that's like just you and you can telecommute. But even so, it's tough to pay money to not make money while you're traveling. So this is an important thing to think about. It's something that I didn't think about when I started RocketBike. Not that I have any regrets about it, but when I started, it was like, I'm doing this because it's a thing that I can do, and it seems like fun. Let's go for it. But I didn't really think about what is my end goal for the business. Mine is a sort of easy one to sort of pivot and figure that out as you go, but if you're starting a manufacturing business, you can't step out of that one very easily. One of the probably most important pieces is to believe in yourself. So positive affirmation is an incredibly powerful tool. There's a million stories about this, so don't need to get into it, but just the idea of you telling yourself that you can do X, Y, and Z is going to make you so much more likely to actually achieve that. Be awesome. Everybody should be awesome. Being a great person to work with, to be around, being sort of a a caring partner in any sort of relationship is going to make people love to work with you, tell other people about it, and being fair with people and not taking advantage of a situation where you can is a long-term strategy that's going to pay off. So sort of have a saying that a day of plunder, a lifetime of trust is more valuable than a day of plunder. If you do right by people, that goes around and people know the difference. And that especially goes when people mess up. Be forgiving and think about if you were to do the exact same thing, how would you want somebody to react? You don't know what their day was like the day before when they might have mixed up product A and product B. And yeah, I think it's a long-term useful sort of way to think about the world. Show, don't tell. Avoid the temptation to tell everybody you know about plans that you've got for this thing. So there's a few reasons for that. One is like things change. You might not be able to follow through with this grand vision that you have. And so that's why you shouldn't commit to half-baked ideas. How many of us know somebody that always talks about this big thing that they're going to do and it's going to be awesome and they never do it? Everyone? 80%? 90? Okay. Yeah. So then when they tell you about something, it's like, why do you bother? And the reason is because it feels good. And then once you tell somebody about this thing you're going to do, you already get that reward, which is this person thinks of you as whatever the thing is you told them. So it's like, I'm going to be a police officer. Like, I work out every day, and I've got a gun, and I'm going to be a police officer. So like the person you tell that to is like, they're going to sort of think about you as a police officer, a weird person for saying it that way, but a police officer, you're like, great, now I don't have to go through all the work of actually becoming one because you already think of me as this person. There's actually a study done in 2009 that showed that if you express your goals to people versus giving to yourself, you're half as likely to actually complete that. So keep it to yourself, show people who you are versus telling them, and you're more likely to get there. Learn the basics. If you're getting into business, you're going to have to know accounting, bookkeeping, management, HR, marketing. You have to get at least the basic fundamentals of those, and if you don't, find somebody you trust to kind of help fill in. An important one that not enough people do is ask for advice. There's so many people that have done what you're trying to do 15 times, and they'd be happy to talk to you about it. But if you don't ask, you're going to muddle through and make the same mistakes that they did on times 1 through 14. Or you can save yourself the hassle by putting yourself out there and having like maybe an awkward interaction when they say no, but more likely than not to say yes, and you'll have a valuable interaction. So a few tips to build a better business: emotion versus logic. People are emotional. We make emotional decisions. It's easy to think about, for marketing especially, is that these 6 attributes make it where it's a clear answer that you're going to choose this over this, but people make choices emotionally. So especially when you think about brands, like brands are part of our self-identity. Like nobody here is going to buy a t-shirt that has some awful logo right here that you hate and doesn't speak to you at all, like a knockoff American Eagle, like with a bear, that's just like really big. And it's like nothing, and it just means that you got this off a bootleg site or something. So that's sort of what brands are for us, no matter what we do. So people are sensitive to those, and often it is an emotional decision. So similarly, selling the aspirational state versus the actual technical benefits of something. It's like choosing moms choose Jif, and it's a great tagline that's worked for them. Jif is just like every other peanut butter that's ever made. It is sugar and pulverized peanuts. But saying choosing moms choose Jif says if you're a mom who cares about your kids, you're going to buy this. And what mom is not like, well, yeah, I care about my kids. I'm not going to get up in that your man stuff. But it really doesn't. There's no difference. So that is a powerful service tool that you can have at your disposal. Businesses create more value. If you don't, your competitors will. And this is just thinking about whatever you do, add more value to customers. So continually impress and surprise them, builds loyalty, and whatever you miss out on, that's another way to give value to your customer audience, whoever it is a missed opportunity that somebody else is going to fill. And sell shovels and pickaxes. So in the gold rush, so many millions of people went over to California to get theirs. There was all this excitement and these stories about everybody like getting rich off of like striking gold. So of those millions of people that went, they all went to the store, bought a shovel and a pickaxe, and went to make their millions. But a fraction of those people, smaller than a fraction, ended up actually making anything. But all the guys selling shovels and pickaxes made a killing. Levi's, that's how they got their start. They sold this weird material called denim to these coal miners that would last longer, so when they're out there trying to make their millions, they didn't have to buy pants on them. So when everybody's going one direction, look for what they're not paying attention to or what they need to get there. So many people sort of turn away business ideas because they're not sexy. Shovels and pickaxes are not sexy, but having a successful, sustainable business that is eventually Levi's is pretty sexy to me. That's all I have. Thank you.
We have time for a few questions. If anyone has any burning questions, feel free to.
Yeah.
So that second business that you had, what's the name of it?
Cosmic Atlas.
Cosmic Atlas. It's like Google Earth, but space.
Yes, that's one of the ways that we've used to explain to people is like Google Universe.
Okay. So you're gonna sell it to Google for like what, $3 billion one day?
That is an exit strategy. We expect probably somewhere under 10 million, just because like they can hire a team of engineers and stuff and do what we did. But 10 million, they don't have to worry about it. Yeah, I do that.
That's what I thought as soon as I saw it. I was like,
Yeah.
you're gonna sell that one day.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Money.
We're onto something. Yeah.
When you were talking about being a boss to people, to your peers, did you say you had any bad experiences or lost any friendships through that?
I have not lost friendships. I've definitely had some bad experiences. I think it's hard when you've got somebody that is challenging to manage, and if you're not 110% confident, then they'll take, if you give an inch, they'll take a yard sort of thing. So if there's somebody that recognizes like any sort of weakness that they can get away with, that's like where the problems that I've had with some crazy people, singular person, was very tough. But yeah, unfortunately you can't screen for everything in interviews. Yeah.
What were some, differences you found being an entrepreneur and I guess hearing people, the facade of being an entrepreneur?
Having money. I think the biggest one is you don't think about, as an entrepreneur, you're sort of ultimately responsible for a lot of the cash cycles of the business. And there could be, maybe a 2-week period where, a huge client, their check gets lost in the mail or something happens, then all of a sudden you still have expenses and that's coming out of your personal account. And I guess revenue does not necessarily equal profit. So you can have a business with a ton of revenue and everybody in the world assumes that you're just pocketing all kinds of money. But a lot of times it's expensive to get that. I guess probably the biggest thing, even for me, I didn't think it would be as hard and as much work as it was. I think specifically a lot of the secondary activities that you have to do, like figuring out what tools and technology you need and bookkeeping, stuff like that. I'm in the technology business, but still I had to set up our server and try to figure out how we were going to do it. And I wasn't about to pay somebody a lot of money to do that. And that's always the struggle of, I have to do this thing, so I guess I'll come in over the weekend and figure it out. And then half the time when you do that, you end up just wasting your own money because you break something that you didn't know what you're doing. But yeah, those would probably be the biggest biggest gaps from expectation to reality.
So now I didn't ask you to do this, but I'm curious. Would you show us the River Realm website and
Oh,
take
yeah.
us through that? This is like one of my favorite projects that they've ever done, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It's called the River Realm, so it's a tourism project. They can speak to it a lot more than I can, but
Yeah, it's Virginia's River Realm. Oh man, I'm gonna scroll.
oh, we're out there.
Yes, this was a month. Virginia's River Realm is, I think, maybe an hour and a half from here. Then this is a fun little SVG animation that sort of saw that filling in on itself. Yeah, it's interactive gaps.
So all the photography is yours, all the design, this is completely your product that you did all in-house.
Yes. Some of the photography is in this one. Why do we use that picture?
Because they didn't have any pictures.
That's it.
A lot of times you have to get creative and like take something you find on the internet and make it look more dead.
Yeah, but yeah, everything else is, that's actually the back of Casey's head. She's be mad I told you that because we didn't
Didn't
feel
brush
it.
my hair that morning, I didn't know that.
But yeah. But,
Good as a weekend. No,
oh.
or you need my screen. I guess you need the screen.
And so for these, you all did content too, so you're writing content on the behalf of the organization or
We tried to spruce it up.
It's a mix, so like they give it to us and then we evolve it knowing like what's gonna actually resonate with people from a marketing perspective. And we had like Facebook campaigns tied with it, so it's like very important that what people get when they get there is good.
right. So you take their ideas and make them better.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes like, they can't afford to pay us to write content as much as we'd like to because sometimes it's word salad. But you know, we usually try to mitigate any encourage. Yeah, so gonna be just like all the reasons to go visit, with links to learn more about this.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, make sure to follow @StromeEC to tune in next time.